Hey folks, if you've enjoyed the videos on this channel of me riding my bike in further flung places of the world, this is not the video for you. This is going to be much more boring. But it is an important one because this video is going to teach you how to use bikecalc.com to work out how to build your adventure bike or choose the right gearing for the bike that is going to be lugging your gear up hills and keeping you enjoying yourself when you find yourself in hilly terrain and you're out bike packing. So BikeCalc is a website where you can plug your gear ratios in to figure out what speeds you're going to get at certain cadences for certain gear ratios. So if you haven't bought your gears yet or you're not sure what to go for, you want to figure out what cadence you're going to be able to keep on climbs, or if you're going to be able to keep up on the top end, keeping up with your fast mates on fast bikes, then this is the website where you can put in your information and find out how it's going to work. So this is what you find on the bikecalc.com homepage. Over on the left here, you can choose whether you're running a fixie or if you're running a geared bike. And in my opinion, this tab here, speed at cadence, is the most useful one. So that's what I've clicked on here, and I've set this up here earlier. So I've selected the rim size, which is 700C, your tire size, because that changes the overall diameter of the bike wheel, kilometers per hour, because that's just how we roll, and cadence, you select your range here that you want to see in this table below. So I've selected from 30 to 130, and then I've put in the gear ratios of a pretty typical setup that people might have if you've converted your road bike to being more of a touring bike. You'll have a 50-34 because that's probably what it's been spec'd with coming out of the showroom, and then your cogs, if you have an 11-40 cassette, this is likely to be your cog ratios. So when you hit calculate, what the website will show you is for each and every combination of gear, it shows you at what cadence you'll be doing what speed. So at the highest gear, which is this one here, the 50-11, at a cadence, a usable cadence of around 70 to 90, you'll be doing this sort of speed. So at 80 cadence, you'll be doing 46 kilometers per hour. So that is in your biggest gear. And in your lowest gear, the 34-40, which is right above it, you'll be doing 8.6 kilometers per hour. So that gives you some idea of how usable this gearing is going to be for you. If, for example, now you wanted to compare this to having smaller gears overall, so having, for example, a 46-30 and just a regular 32 cassette or 34 cassette on the rear, we can compare those. So I'm going to keep this window up and I'm going to duplicate the tab. And in this tab, I'm going to put in our intended new chain rings, which are 46-30. So these are getting pretty popular on adventure gearing bikes. And the lowest cassette size we're going to have here is a 32, and then I'm not really sure exactly the gearing spread, but it doesn't really matter. The most important things are what you've got at either end of the scale, your 11 and your 32. So I'm going to hit calculate on that, and we can now compare this with the 54-30 setup we had on the other tab. So the smallest gear you've got, or the easiest gear you've got, is the 30-32, and at 80 cadence you're going to be doing 9.53 kilometers per hour, and at 80 cadence on the 34-40 you'll be doing 8.61 kilometers per hour. So that tells me that the 34-40 is going to be spinnier. It's going to be an easier gear to pedal than a 30-32. So that is what this website allows you to do. And you can compare for the top end as well. So for the 46-11, you can see at 80 cadence, you'll be doing 42 kilometers per hour. And if we go back to our 50-11, you're going to be doing 46 kilometers per hour. So the spread overall of a 46-30 with only a 32 cassette on the rear is not as good. You lose out at the top end and you lose out at the bottom end compared to the 50-34 with a 40 cassette. So if you wanted to put a 34 cassette on the rear with the 4630, let's hit calculate on that one. And it's lower, so the 30-34 gives 8.92 kilometers per hour at 80 cadence, again, compared to the 3440, you get 8.61. So 8.61, 8.92, they're pretty close. So I'd say bottom end 3440 is pretty comparable to a 3440 with overall lighter gears, a lighter bike, and everything that's good for. My own personal gears of choice, I use a 40-28 because I use mountain bike gears, and I actually have this setup here. I have an 11-40 cassette. I'm going to hit calculate on that and show you just how low my lowest gear is. So I have a 2840, and at 80 cadence I can do 7 kilometers per hour, which is sort of a fast walking speed really at 80 cadence in my lowest gear. So I can pretty much lug any weight up any hill with this, but where I do lose out quite a lot is in the top end. So my 4011, I can only do 36 kilometers per hour when doing 80 cadence. So keeping up with friends on fast flats or slight descents, I'm often up here. I'm often 110, 120 cadence just to keep up with them on slight descents. So that's how you use that website. I hope that helps for those of you who are moving over into the more bikepacking, adventure style of riding. It's such a useful website before you go and spend your hard-earned cash on gears, because they're not the cheapest things to buy. Let me know what gearing ratios you've decided to run down below. And if you've got any channels where you do bike packing, bike touring, and you make awesome videos, I'd love to watch them. Feel free to post them in the comments down below as well. We'll see you soon.